Okay, now we are recording. This is our second meeting. Actually, yesterday we met. So we are talking about the ABC Elementary School, Perfect Valley Public School District. Would you, Ashley, please read the instructions? So after that, we will discuss it.
Yes, thank you, Zayed. Newsflash, the principal noted above has suddenly retired. The new principal takes the reins in a week, and she has heard grumblings about frustrated teachers feeling ignored, frustrated, and or ignored in their own concerns regarding curriculum development and professional development. She has reached out to a small group of teachers at ABC Elementary who she has heard are influential among their faculty peers. This group is invited to craft a proposal to organize and facilitate on any one of the three following initiatives this principal is considering. Initiative 1 is instituting a voluntary, once-a-month peer share breakfast where faculty present and discuss curriculum and open up the floor to discussion. Initiative number 2 is creating a floating friend fellowship where all faculty are released for one afternoon on a monthly rotating basis to go into the classroom of a fellow teacher and informally observe to offer peer support and feedback. Initiative number 3 is implementing a practitioner instructional leadership program that would have a small team of teachers, possibly 3, team teach a single class so each individual would have 2 days a week to be in direct coaching, mentoring service to the rest of the faculty, yet still teaching his or herself. I believe our role here is to decide which one of these would be a best option to propose to the principal.
Okay. So what will you select, Ashley?
Well, after reviewing these, they all sound like good options, but let's first discuss option or initiative 1.
Okay.
Initiative 1, having a peer share breakfast. You know, this is a small school, and I believe that with a new principal coming in, it would be good to have a voluntary breakfast where there's an informal gathering, where in that informal nature will allow teachers to, to break down some walls and really have a more casual atmosphere when we're discussing what we do in the class as far as curriculum is concerned. What about you, Martha? What do you think would be best?
I'm choosing number 2 because which is creating a floating friend fellowship where all faculty is released. There are like more opportunities for teaching and also from observing teachers. So I would like to have that opportunity as my, the number 1 is good, but number 2 offer like more practice for the teachers, and not only to say what they want or what they would like to do, but also what they can do and co-teach with other teachers or learn from other teachers. So it's a great opportunity, and it sounds good for the environment in this school, and it's like a safe environment, and so they can give and share and at the same time learn from others. How about you, Syed?
Okay, Ashley, would you scroll down, please, the page, because we are sharing your screen. Okay, well, for me, as I told you before, although I have zero experience with teaching elementary school, and because you know that I'm teaching adult students of the Defense Language Institute, but based on what I see right now, I will go for number 3 because implementing a practitioner instructional leadership. So I would go to select 3 teachers. Okay, so and they teach one single classroom. So one teacher will be in this classroom, and the other two teachers can go and monitor the other classes, and they can give feedback to the teachers. Well, actually, I think that will bring 2 benefits. The first one is because each teacher can see the point from her or his angle. And at the end of the week, those 3 teachers can share their information, and they can decide and determine, well, what is the weak point, what is the strength point, how can they improve the curriculum, how can they feedback the teachers, what the supplementary materials they can give to the students. And the other benefit, I think, could create a democracy environment among the other teachers, because if we give the responsibility to one teacher to run the school, that will give the other teachers impression that this teacher is looking for promotion or to be bully them. So 3 teachers, I guess that will be better if they work together, and each one can feedback the other. That's creating a good learning process. So
my biggest concern with that is who picks the small team of teachers? How are they going to be chosen? Is that going to be a voluntary basis? Do they have, is that small team of teachers going to rotate throughout the year? Is it going to be is there going to be more than one team? You know, maybe there's going to be 2 or 3 different teams.
Well,
I'm wondering, is it going to be, I could see this happening if you did it like per grade level. Let's say you have, well, this is, you know, ABC Elementary is a small school.
Mm-hmm.
So are those, you know, I'm also not an elementary school teacher. I've never taught elementary school, but I know that we have, let's say, you know, Martha, you're the expert here. You're in kindergarten. What if these 3 teachers are teaching, are 5th grade teachers, and they've never taught, you know, the lower levels?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like maybe that would be interesting to see how what kind of mentoring they would give you at your level, and vice versa? If you're kinder 1st grade, or you know, you have the 3 of you there, I could see you doing it at that grade level, but how are you going to be helping teach 5th grade? Once again, I'm not an elementary school teacher, but do you find that people who are teaching usually grades K through 3 kind of stay in those grades? Or do you guys go all over? Do you teach any level?
No, we usually stay in the grade that we're teaching right now. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens, but for me it will be hard, like, to move to another grade level. Like,
yeah, could you see yourself in a you know, teaching? I could see. I just think since you know, as it says here in this part,
okay.
This is pre-kindergarten through 5th grade, and it's housing approximately 100 students. So
I believe we don't have enough information, because it doesn't say which classroom should they go, or
yeah. So I would say if this is a large school, you had, let's say, numerous 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade teachers. Maybe you had, you know, let's say six kindergartens. You know, how many kids do you have in a kindergarten? 20? Usually kindergarten's 20 to 1, correct?
I have 22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how many kindergarten classes are in your school?
3.
3. So then if you put those 3 teachers together, you would have 3 teachers teaching about 66.
Mm-hmm.
So would you find that interesting to have, you know, the other? I just don't see how that would work with numbers.
I think we can do it with like the same grade level, but teaching another grade level will be something really different. I don't know how it would work, but
this would, I think, would be a great option if you kept those, if we didn't grow class size. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say if you'd have to have 3 teachers teaching those 22 kids, and then they'd rotate in or out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then they would stay with the kinder.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great. I just, as long as you're not going to increase your class size, if the district's willing to do that. But I would say that you'd have to have one of these small teams for every grade level. That's what would make sense to me.
That will be great, but by grade level, not moving like kinder teachers to teach 5th grade or 4th, and bringing 5th grade teachers to teach kindergarten. Those are totally different worlds. It's like different.
Yeah, that was my assumption. That would be, you know, I teach a certain class. Let's say if we were to take this to a high school level, or even to the DLI, Ziad. Yeah. I mean, there are standard best practices in teaching, but and you guys are all language teachers, so you even have more, you know.
Well, actually, we do observation. So we watch our
Excuse me.
co-workers when they teach the classroom. But again, you know, because the authorities there are clear for us. It's never happened like the principal to retire suddenly. You know, we are like, even it's an academic institution, but the main thing, it's military. So everything is organized well. So this situation, honestly, is weird for me. And yesterday I was talking to my daughter after we finished the meeting. I said, once you told me that you had 2 teachers, so how can they manage your classroom? She said, actually, because our number is huge, like 44 or 45 students.
Yeah, see,
so,
that's what I was thinking of this back. Yeah. You have 3 teachers, single class. They're going to want to put not 22 kids in there. They're going to want to put, you know, 30, school, 40.
You know? Ashley, it was a middle school, and they split the classroom into 2 groups. So one teach them like English, the other one teach them math. And then she said, after a while, we got like 2 English teachers or 2 math teachers. So one distribute the assignment to the students, and the other teacher explain to them the class. And once again, the other teacher is going and see how the students do the day work. And yeah, because the huge number of the students, so they put 2 teachers in one classroom.
Well, Ziad, this is reminding me of what you said about when you were in school in Iraq, how you had such large class sizes. So one teacher would be actually the instructor, while the other teacher was the disciplinarian. And I don't think that's what we're looking at in Initiative 3. It sounds to me that this initiative is more about, you know, keeping the same class size, let's say 22, so it's like, you know, Martha's class.
Yes.
And then the teachers rotating in different days. So let's say on Monday you have, you know, Miss Sally, and she's teaching her lesson while the other 2 teachers are observing the other kindergarten classes, and probably other throughout. It says here the whole rest of the faculty. So at this specific school, ABC school, there's only 100 students.
Yeah.
So you're talking about very small class sizes. So they're probably, you know, she's probably looking at all the different grade levels. They're helping observe and do what, you know, typically administrators would do. So that's why this is a practitioner instructional leadership program. They're taking over the observation, the mentoring, the coaching. So I think that Martha's, you know, when she's saying it wouldn't work for you to go to, you know, a 5th grade, would that be difficult for you, Martha?
Yes, because I need to know the curriculum, and the classroom management is another thing. I don't really know how those kids behave when they are in their classroom. So I'm going to
say you probably, being in the younger grades, have more classroom management strategies than in 5th grade. I think you have to be on top of those little ones, but that's why I kind of go back to that voluntary once a month peer share breakfast, because everyone can hear what everyone else is doing. Let's say, you know, the 1st grade team is going to go ahead and be the one that peer share out, you know, what they're doing, and they can discuss it. You could even do it where, you know, let's say, you know, once a month, you could either even have the breakfast, which is all the 1st grade classes or all the kinder classes, or you can even go and have it be, you know, K1, 2, 3 all having breakfast together, and the 4 and 5s having breakfast together, because then you're going to kind of, maybe you're going to see the kids and hear the students that had the kids you had in the past. Let's say, you know, you had Johnny or Sally in kindergarten, and now you're listening to the struggles that maybe their first and second grade teachers are having with them, so you can have that impact and still be connected to those students that you had in the past, that you might have, you know, a little bit more to share because you reached them a certain way.
Well,
That might be beneficial.
I have a question here, Ashley. For number one, you said it's instituting a voluntary once a month. So do you think that once a month will be enough for elementary school to discuss the curriculum and all the other problems of the classes?
You're probably right, Zayad. That might be an issue. See, because if you look back up and we discuss our school here, there's been little to no progress in raising test scores in the past several years. So, you know, and we're frustrated because we've been feeling ignored.
Yeah, and if you look, please keep the page here, and you can see like many students are low income, and for this problem, so most of the students struggle. I can bet about this point. And the other thing, I think that many of them are not good English speakers, correct?
Yes, 77% are low income and 40% are English language learners.
So at this point, those students need hard work. And I don't think that meeting once a month will be a good idea. That's my perspective. But
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, okay. If we go back to number 3 point, so because here I focus on the leadership. Actually, leadership consists of 3 teachers. That will be, they produce a better understanding. They can get like a good result, you know, because if we give all the authorities to one instructor to run the school, that's not guarantee that he or she can overcome all the problems of the classes. But 3 teachers, each one can give his or her feedback and to see the weak points and strong point, and then they collect together. And for sure, if there is a healthy conferences, healthy atmosphere among the teachers, among the leadership, they can produce a good leadership to those classes. So what do you think, Martha?
Yeah, so it's only 3 teachers and we don't know how many classes?
Well, we can estimate if they said like 500 students.
It's 100, right?
It's 100 students.
Yeah, 100.
100?
Yeah, so you're saying, you know, say in five, that's about 20 students per grade level.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, if we have 20 students per grade level, we're looking at 1 level for every grade. You know, we know, it says here, we know our standards are posted in all the classrooms.
So it's only 1 grade level, 1 class per grade level?
Well, if we have 100, it states here that we have.
It goes all the way to what? To
ABC Elementary is a pre-kindergarten through 5th grade school that has 100 students.
Yeah, 100 students. Yeah. Sorry about.
There's 500 in all 3 of the schools in the district.
The district, exactly. Yeah.
So if you have 100 students, you're talking about roughly one level.
okay.
You know, one class per grade level.
Yeah, exactly. 1 class per grade level. So it's like 20 or 18 if we add the kindergarten to the elementary school.
And those teachers are the teachers that belong to a classroom, right? Like.
So what it sounds like, maybe that we're talking about taking 3 teachers or even team teaching in a single class. You know, the 3 has a question mark next to it. Maybe we don't do 3. Maybe we have.
Because it's only 5 teachers probably, right? In the whole school?
Yes, it's only 5 teachers. So then maybe one of the class levels has, let's say 5th grade. let's say fifth grade has three to four team teachers, and those teachers continue to teach at the, and maybe they don't just, I think we could even adapt this. Maybe they teach at every level.
Yeah.
And maybe I think that you could rotate in the school. Maybe you have everyone be a leadership program. Maybe we have 5 teachers in this team teaching, and they rotate through first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade, and they also watch each other. That way we see best teaching practices. And since we have such a small staff of teachers,
actually, I love this. So it's a better idea. So all of them will contribute in the leadership.
All of them would, but the drawback would be that they'd have to learn so much curriculum. So maybe out of this, we wouldn't have 5. Let's say we would have 8. We have 8 to 10 teachers, and each level may have a couple of teachers. But that way, you're going to have some that are going to be experts at that grade level. But maybe you have some that have taught, maybe they've taught second, they've taught fourth, and they feel comfortable with all. I only said fifth grade because if you're a fifth grade teacher, then you probably already know, you probably already know the curriculum for all the other grades. You know the math and it all. You may not know necessarily the best management techniques for, let's say, you're not going to use the same techniques in fifth grade as you would in first grade, but you would think you should because it's all the same. I do think, Martha, this is where you might have a little bit more expertise. I'm kind of using my experience.
I believe it's a good idea because then you can learn like all the way, like the sequence of the things that they need to learn, and you will be better informed and probably be a better teacher because if I know what they need in first grade or second or third, I will prepare them better than.
Well, and not only that, if you think of it this way, if we're all working together, because I think a big issue in elementary school, and this is just for my own children going through elementary school, is, if you know what, you have to have knowledge of what's happening the year before you and the year after you, because I have to know what my students are supposed to come into my grade level knowing and what they should be looking forward to in the next year. So this would be an excellent way of learning even more of that, because if let's say in third grade and my job is to teach multiplication and division and I don't have them prepared for that, I might need my fourth grade teacher to come down and help me get them ready. And maybe I'm not doing a very good job in the math, because if your student has a bad third grade teacher and they don't, or you're going back to reading, maybe the second grade teacher is noticing that their students are coming in not as prepared as she would like. So you're going back and helping with the reading instruction. Mm-hmm. So Diane, I may have changed my mind. You've got me changing my mind here. I do believe that Initiative 3 is a good initiative, but it's not written very well at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, regardless of the number, but we agree all about the implementing a practitioner and instructional leadership program. That's fine, because more teachers to involve in leadership is better than to assign only one.
Yes, I think this would be much better, because you would be a little bit more open to hearing the critique or the advice, better words, advice of the teachers that if I know, like, hey, my students are going to this next level, I have to listen to that teacher and you get more of a more practical, relevant information to help your coaching, help coach the next person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you ever talk, Martha, to your first grade teachers?
Talk?
Yeah, do you ever discuss with the first grade teachers what the kindergartners are supposed to be prepared for?
Yeah, we always ask at the beginning of the school year, and even at the end, it's like, okay, this is what they know now. So you take it from here. But yeah, we have like professional development and professional learning community. Which is like talk about things that we need to do in order to get the students ready for the next grade level. So, and the same thing with the pre-kindergarten teacher, the transitional kindergarten, she prepares them for kindergarten. So that's the whole idea. In that sense, I like the idea of the number 3, because it gives opportunity for the teachers to help each other and to be actively like engaged and participating with each other.
Excellent. So I think, we haven't discussed really number 2 at all.
Yes.
You think we should maybe discuss the pros and cons of initiative 2, creating the Floating Friend Fellowship? What do you think? Because this might be for our purposes, since we have such a small school, maybe this is actually a better one here, because every faculty member is released for 1 afternoon a month to go around and watch all other levels of classes. And so that rotates. Now, so let's say that means that first grade teacher once a month gets a sub that comes in, and then they get to go look at the, maybe they're looking at the second grade class. And then the next month, then they look at the third grade class, and the second grade teacher gets released.
Yeah, but what will happen here, Ashley, I think we are going to destroy the teamwork. So we will give the leadership to one person a month, and I think the communication will be missed. So each one will take the leadership month and after month, while if we create like a team to be leader, so they can communicate between each other and feedback each other, and so each one can see the subject from his or her own angle, they can get a better results.
Well, and the problem here is that it's only once a month, and you're talking about having 6 teachers, so you have a kinder teacher, and so you have kinder gets released 1 month, then first grade 1 month, then second grade 1 month, third grade 1 month. So now you're only you get to 6 months, and you only have 3 more left. So not everybody gets to rotate twice.
Yeah, and the other thing, for example, if you are going for this month, and then after 1 month, the curriculum is moved. We are going to section 2 and section 3, so the feedback will be different. There's some missing points in this point.
But my concern is, like, right now we have so much testing going on that we have to give to students, and we also have other activities like field trips and things like that. So I don't know if we can accommodate option number 3 in the plan, if we take into consideration all the extra activities that we do during the whole school year.
You mean 2 or 3? Because I would think that 3 would be, see, the problem with 2, I'm listening to you, Zai. The problem with 2 is that when you say, it says all faculty are released for 1 afternoon on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm.
To go into the classroom of fellow teachers. Well, if all faculty are released 1 afternoon, who's teaching?
Yeah, that is the point that I was making. Like, this is not clear, because if it said all faculty went
yeah, if all faculty are released, then how are they going to observe teaching if all faculty are released? They're going to observe the substitute.
I think it's a general term that they included there. Like, they don't really mean like all teachers at the same time, probably.
Yeah, they're also, that's what the states here. All faculty are released 1 afternoon on a monthly rotating basis. So
to go into the classroom?
Well, just to let you know that we exceeded 45 minutes in our discussion.
Oh, have we? Oh, okay. Thank you for keeping us on time, Zayad. Well, yeah. So as a group here, what do you think? Which one can we cancel one of them out for sure?
Well, for me, I will go for number 3 because it's talking about leadership consists of 3 or more teachers in a group, so they can change the information, they can feedback each other, and they figure out the weak points at each class or with the students. I will go with this point.
Okay, so Ziad, your thumbs up for initiative 3. What about you, Martha? What do you think?
I don't know, I'm probably crazy, but I'm thinking about doing this gradually, but we don't have that option. But my idea when I was reading, like right now, is like, okay, we can start with probably having the breakfast at the beginning and then go for one teacher observing a coworker. And then at the end, we can integrate everything and do the number 3. But I know we don't have that option.
So
you know what? I see what you're saying. You know, you're saying that, well, what if we started it this way?
Mm-hmm.
What if we said, what if we start the breakfast once a week?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know if we have to actually choose one of these, because if we see flaws in every single one of them, and at a real school site, if you were in a group and you saw the flaws, you would adapt. So I don't know why we necessarily have to choose exactly one of these. But I see what you're saying, because especially if you have a culture of teachers that have felt frustrated for a while, when you have a new principal come in, you aren't gonna, you may want to take things a little bit slower. You may not have trust. So therefore, maybe we needed to do something where we improve the school culture, first of all, by having some more fellowship. So I see where you're going with that, Martha. That does make some sense. But I also see Ziad's point about, we want something where teachers are having the leadership so that they're feeling autonomous and kind of more in control of helping each other. All of these make good sense.
Yeah. So I don't know no.
I would go with, I think maybe we should get some more feedback from maybe the rest of the staff.
No. Oh.
That's in any of these initiatives this principal is considering. To craft a proposal to organize and facilitate any one of the initiatives that this principal is considering. Huh.
So these are the principal's ideas, right? It's like ideas.
Yes, I believe it says that the principal is considering these 3.
Mm-hmm. And she's taking some teachers. How many teachers? Just a small group of teachers.
Who have heard are influential. We do have to remember the difference in this school is that it's a very small school. Therefore,
is that the same theme as the number 3?
I think it is kind of the same thing as your number 3. I believe maybe we could use number 3 and insert some of your points, because
like a process, right?
Yes, I mean, whether we might have a breakfast in the big school year to kind of, and then decide to do that once a week. Maybe we do that on our PLC days, because you have those PLC days. So maybe we have them be a little bit more of a fellowship and have that weekly. And that PLC breakfast time would be where these practitioner instructional leaders are going to share out what they've seen. And maybe they're going to, recognize best practices on what they've seen throughout the faculty. I'm just hoping that this leadership program would eventually, maybe it's something that's going to, every teacher has an opportunity to be part of this program. Maybe that group of teachers rotates every year.
Yeah, that would be great. So everybody can be a leader.
Well, you can, because let's be honest, sometimes we are better versions of ourselves when we know we're being watched.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are watching others, it reminds us of what we should be doing that we kind of maybe take for granted we're doing, but we're not really doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I've been teaching for 22 years. In last class, when I had to have a lesson plan, I had to videotape it. I was realizing, well, am I really doing this? And it made me reflect more. And because I had a little anxiety about it, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm being watched. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I'm watched every day by my students. However, being watched by other faculty and other teachers is a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
So I believe Ziad is correct. I believe that we should go with 3, and then at that point in time, we could do other things to make it, to open up people and help them be a little bit more collective in their approach.
Okay, so do you agree with number 3?
Yes, Ziad.
Yes,
Okay.
we.
So if we're done with the session for this week, can we set the appointment for next week? So can we meet, like, what do you think? Friday, same time?
Friday will be good for me. I'm okay with Friday.
Friday sounds
Oh,
good.
actually, this Friday. Are you guys participating of the commencement ceremony or not?
When is the commencement ceremony?
Next Saturday?
It's June 1st?
Yes.
Oh, no, I don't think I am. So then maybe we should choose another day. What about
Either Thursday or Wednesday.
Thursday? Would
No, Thursday, because Wednesday we have homework. So how about Thursday?
Thursday, 8 o'clock?
Thursday, 8 o'clock sounds great to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be fine.
Good. We'll go for Thursday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Actually, I will end the meeting. I will end the recording right now, and hopefully we'll receive the email from Zoom. And after that, I'm going to copy the link and send it to all of you.
Awesome. Thank you
Don't
so
forget
much,
the
Ziad.
professor. I think you need to send it to the professor too.
Well, yeah, but I guess I'm not sure that each one has to upload it, or I think one can be enough. But you need to do your reflection and upload your video.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Ashley.
you.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.